What's up, family? I hope that you are well. I hope that you are blessed, and I hope that you are safe. This is the Damien Jones podcast. I'm your host, Damien Jones. Hope everybody's having a blessed day. But I want to get into this conversation, and I'm joined by some very brilliant brothers today. We may be joined by a few other folks as well. But the topic of conversation in our country right now is Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris. Particularly Kamala Harris, who is the vice president of the United States. And there have been a lot of changes in the White House, a lot of changes in our politics in the last 3 weeks. And she is now the presumptive nominee for the Democratic Party. But there are questions circling. Is she capable? Can she do the job? Is she up to leading the free world? And so with me today to kind of talk about that is Derek Gibson, Troy T, the Commander, and Ricky Manigo. Brothers, welcome to the Damien Jones podcast. How are you?
Good evening. Everything's good.
Wonderful, 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 wonderful. So let me get into what's my first question. Yeah, here's my first question. Let's talk about Biden for a second. We saw in the debate for the last several years that Biden is losing it. Biden is not cognitively there. He's kind of slow. His words are slurred and things of that nature. He can't do the job. And he finally, under pressure from Democrats, from Obama, from Pelosi, from Schumer, and they finally had him step down from the campaign. My question, Derek, I'll come to you on this first. Did Biden make the right decision to step down from the campaign?
Well, I think all along they was planning this all along. Biden know he wasn't going to run for the next election. He was just riding things out to make things get in order for whoever was going to be the nominee. And he handpicked Kamala. I never heard of that. Hopefully, they will go through an election process before they go to the DNC, or even at the moment of the DNC, they try to pick a candidate. I never heard anybody being just appointed by the president himself. It don't make too much sense to me. But yeah, Biden's health has been in decline for years, and it just got worse and worse. And they actually what I think actually they wanted President Trump to concentrate on Biden, then boop, he go to surprise. Then everything turn around. He's not prepared for the candidate that they was going to push forward. So those are just some brief thoughts of mine.
Yeah. Commander, what do you think about that?
Yes, sir. Good evening. Ask me the question one more time, if you don't mind.
Did Biden make the right decision in stepping down? Because I have heard some Democrats say that they were actually disappointed and they thought Biden should have finished what he started.
Okay. Yeah, he made the right decision on stepping down because it was there. They couldn't hide it any longer. So yeah, he made the right decision stepping down, and he also made the right decision of picking Kamala Harris as the next person up.
Why do you say that?
Now I'm glad you asked.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because he didn't have to endorse her.
That's true. But this is how I look at it. Okay, so him picking Kamala Harris, he secure. How can I say it? I want to say the black vote, but the black female vote. Okay, to me, that was the reason for him picking her for vice president for the black vote. If he didn't pick Kamala Harris for to be the next one up, it would have been tension between the black voters. I think he would have lost the black vote.
Okay.
So he did the right thing on doing that.
Okay.
I agree with you, Commander, because they have played the race and agenda card so long. Now it has came to a head, so they absolutely had not a choice but to pick her. Otherwise, the whole party would just fell apart instantly. Sorry about the interruption.
No, you good. Troy, so on the backs of that question that statement that they just made, right? Let me go back a little bit. Do you think Kamala was chosen to be vice president because of her capabilities, or do you think identity politics came into play?
You took the word right out of my mouth. It's identity politics at its finest. The Democrats basically, if you look back, I want to say less than 7 months ago, the Indian prime minister came over to America to meet with Biden. America is right now dealing with BRICS. We're trying to move away from dealing with China as much and deal with India. So you're going to see a lot more India representation, or East Indians or East Indian Americans, if you will, representation in the politics on both sides. And that's where I see the identity politics are pandering, if you will. I know that Biden, well, a lot of people didn't expect Biden to make the full term based on maybe age and health. I didn't expect for him to make it. And I still don't feel like he'll be able to be in the White House at full throttle at his age. And some reason I think that Kamala will be president by default if we don't hear from him in time. So yeah, there's a lot of identity politics going on, but we are trying to replace China with India as a trade partner as well.
Yeah, so
if I could take a stab at that. So when we talk about identity politics, we talk about Kamala Harris. Let's remember, we started hearing grumblings about her after the 2016 failure. And what did people say? They said she's a woman of color and she's like Obama.
wait. Hold on. You mean 2020 failure?
In 2016, that's when they started or 2017, that's when they started marketing Kamala. That's when they started saying, all right, getting her ready for prime time.
Okay. You're saying when Hillary lost, then they started getting Kamala ready. Okay, go ahead.
Yep. So leading up to that, you heard they've said, all right, well, she's a woman of color. And this was being marketed to black people. And I was talking like online to different people. I would hear about Kamala. And the thing that they would say about her is she's a woman of color. Wouldn't even say black. They would say she's a woman of color. And they would keep throwing that at you. And my whole thing was that when I looked at her policies were horrendous. So leading up to that race, all of the money was behind Kamala because the people in the Hamptons, the white people that met her, and the circles that she was in, which weren't black people and weren't anybody grassroots who was really about anything, by the time that she actually had to run in 2020, opposed to woo young people, everybody rejected her. So that whole identity politics thing, they said woman of color, she wasn't what she pretended to be. And that's how she got kind of rejected. When she was seen in the spotlight, when you actually saw her, she doesn't come off like a sister. She doesn't come off cool like how Obama came off. And I think that was like an identity miscalculation from the white establishment.
Okay, so let me ask you all this. There's been a lot of talk about the process, right? I think Derek kind of mentioned it earlier about what may happen at the DNC. The convention is 3 weeks away, right? They still haven't officially confirmed their nominee. There was a tweet by Black Lives Matter today, a couple hours ago, and they are upset and they are questioning the process. And a lot of folks on the left are saying the process is not fair, it's not equitable, it's not what Democrats would normally call democracy, right? Derek, your thoughts? Do you think the process is what we're seeing from the Democrats is fair and equitable and transparent in terms of the nomination of their top candidate?
Well, it's total opposite of what you just said. There's no fairness in it. If I understand the process, but it's always be even if a sitting president is there and he's running for a second term, it's always people that is going to challenge him. So you have to get out there and you have to earn the vote, and you have to get the nod of the nomination, not be appointed like President Biden appointed her, and she running with like she just know 1,000%. I'm going to be that nominated. I mean, it's so the process has turned off a lot of Democrats. If you look from the inside of the Democratic Party, they trapped themselves into, like I said before, into this skin color, the gender. Now all of a sudden you hear on the news, well, she could be the first black woman president. I'm like, how do you know that? How do you know she's a woman? Because we had this thing going on that they couldn't tell whether it was a woman or not. You elected a put a woman on the Supreme Court, and she couldn't define
Right.
woman. I mean, it's a depraved mindset. And I'm not a biologist, so all of a sudden now all the women are biologists. They know what a woman is. So I just look at their hypocritical stances, and the system is not fair. And I think it's going to be a lot of pushback if they don't have a vote and they don't have other people trying to get the nomination. It's going to be a lot of pushback, and I think it's going to really drag the Democratic Party down. The chicken's coming home to roost.
Yeah, you make a good point, because that's what I was telling somebody a couple of days ago. We saw there were 50,000 black women on a call a few days ago and raised $1.5 million. There were about 40,000 black men on the call last night, raised about the same. But like, the larger question is, like, I know folks like to get wrapped up in this symbolism. First black woman, right? The woman piece, right? But I think we got to peel back the onion from this symbolism and just really face this realistic question. Does her record say that she should be elected? If you look at her record, not the symbolism, the problem that black folks made with Obama was we were so enamored with the look of a black family in the White House, and they were elegant, right? There were no scandals, which was great. But we didn't particularly pay deep attention to the policies, right? And so now we have another opportunity, and not fall for that trick. What are her policies looking like? And so, fellas, what her record, is it enough for her to get elected? Or do you see a lot of issues with her record and with the policies that the Biden and Harris administration has put forward? Anybody can take that question.
All right, let me go ahead and take that. But as far as her being nominated, as far with the DNC, I think she got all the delegate votes as far as being nominated for the DNC. I forgot how many there is, but she has the delegate votes. And it also go back to, like I said, they couldn't get rid of her, so they had to go ahead and pick her. Mm-hmm. I think she's going to go ahead and carry on with Joe Biden's mission. Whatever Joe Biden was doing, she's going to carry that on with her. I think when it comes to the debate, as far as I know, we didn't get into the debate part, but she's going to be attacked on Joe Biden's policy because she was there as the vice president. She was in charge of the border. She couldn't even control that. Mm-hmm. And as far as her record in California, yes, I mean, they're really going to get her on the record in California. I think while she was vice president, my personal opinion, I think she was just there. I don't know if she was soaking up anything that was going on in the White House just in case, but I think she was just there as a vice president.
I agree with Commander on that. My biggest issue, you proposed a question earlier on X app. What is your biggest issue with Kamala Harris, or what is y'all's biggest issue with her? My biggest issue is she was given a directive from the commander-in-chief to go to the border. I'm down here in Texas, so I know what it's like. I've been knowing what it's like with all these people rushing our border for years. It's been a big issue. We're right at the border. We got so many people in Houston, San Antonio, Austin, all our major cities, El Paso. We just got people just everywhere on the bus stops. It's been like that. So when she didn't take that seriously and didn't take the directive, that's when I knew that she was going to be a problem candidate for the future. And if she had just done that one thing, just having foresight for the future, she would be a very plausible candidate now if she had taken that seriously.
Yeah. Ricky, you agree with that?
Let me chime in.
Well, hold on. Ricky, did you have something to add? Then we go to Derek.
I do got something to add. She was terrible on the border. That's all she had to do. But my main issue with Kamala is her stances on criminal justice. I think they're outdated. She has the old 90s policies. That's what she did when she was AG. She opposed cannabis reform. She was pushing for longer sentences. And I'm sure you're familiar with Steve Mnuchin. If you don't lock up the big banksters from One West who ripped off all those black homeowners, then I don't want to see you getting tough with low-level people who are doing stuff that's not hurting anybody. I think that's her biggest issue as an attorney general. She's on the wrong side of criminal justice reform. That's what she's done in the Biden administration. I'm sure that's what she'll do if she gets another term.
Yeah, go ahead, Derek.
So when we're talking about maybe her policies or something, I know I haven't played close attention. I couldn't stand even look at Biden administration or whatever the clown show. But I don't know any policies. I don't know anything that she supported besides open borders and uh, I don't know. I'm kind of lost when you say policies. I'm like, what policies? What have she pushed? Even in the Senate, what did she push that was beneficial for America? I'm not seeing that. And I know when she was Attorney General of California back there, all the men she locked up the black men for selling weed, this, that, and the other, and all the lies she told. It was just pathetic. And then when those men were found not guilty, she just kept them in jail. So what is that to be gleeful and joyful about that she's going to come the nominee? And how did she get those delegates that quick? That's telling you the system is rigged. If she got the amount of
Yes.
delegates already in these few days, that means the system is rigged, which we all know was rigged. 2020 was a coup. We all know that. So I'm lost when it comes to policies. Like you say, she's a failed Cesar for the border. She absolutely did. And just throw the hands up, so let them all come in. So I'm just not getting it. I'm not feeling her at all.
So Damien, real quick. So
go ahead.
How you think Joe Manchin feel? He wanted to switch from independent to Democrat to at least, try to get a nomination out of it, but they already nominated her.
They talked him out of it. He was going to do it. They talked him out of it though. But no, when we talk about her policies, her policies are Joe Biden's policies. So let's look at one: student loan debt forgiveness. For a lot of Americans, that is an issue, right? For all of those Americans that did not go to college and did not take out student loans, right? They have a problem with that, okay? But that's right in her lap. As we mentioned earlier, the border. She was named the border czar, and she was given more responsibility than most vice presidents really have, because they wanted her to be active and to be set up if she needed to replace Biden. And what happened with the border? We're talking about 20 million illegal immigrants that have crossed the border under her watch, right? I looked up and found today 24,000 Chinese citizens also crossed the southern border to get over here, right? Then we're talking about 50,000 pounds of fentanyl are coming across the southern border as well, right? Because it's not under control whatsoever. To the tune of $150 billion that taxpayers have to pay for, right? So that's a huge issue, and I could go on and on with some other things. And so my next question is, given her policy positions that are pretty much lockstep with Joe Biden, she can't separate herself from Joe Biden's economy. Let's talk about the economy. The economy has been terrible, right? 9% inflation, right? Food services costs increasing as well, right? She can't separate herself from that. So when you look at that, then you look at what Donald Trump is proposing. My question is, guys, can she stand up to Donald Trump on the stage, on the debate stage, and talk about the issues? Anybody can take that.
My thing with that, let me tell you what she's going to be strong in when it comes to the abortion. That's what she's going to be. That's going to be her go-to right there. The abortion part of it, because she is a woman. So she's going to be speaking to all the women out there. Like I said, she's bringing in Joe Biden's policies. She's not smart enough to come up with her own policies. She's going to carry on with Joe Biden's policies. That's just my opinion. But she's really going to push against Trump with the abortion issue. So I think that's how she's going to handle that.
So
she'll be strong in that.
So I hear that, but I also saw a poll today that said 52% of female voters support Kamala and 47% support Trump. So she's not doing great with women either. Like women's, they seem to love Trump, even given grab them by the P, even this Roe v. Wade question. They seem to like. Here's what the polls are saying. The polls, and I'm saying this from an objective standpoint. The polls are saying Americans don't really care for Kamala Harris. Now, it may be her policies. It may be they haven't seen enough of her because she's been vice president. She hasn't been out on the scene because Biden has been the front runner, right? So it may be they just don't know her as well. It may be various things, what it is. But the polls are saying right now, even with this injection of life in the Democratic Party, the polls are saying if the election were today, it would not look good for Kamala Harris. Y'all jump in.
Hey, we know enough of Kamala. Hold on, there. Let me go right quick. Hey, we know enough of Kamala that every time we ask her about something for our community, we get this snarky hyena laugh. We know that much, right? So I was looking at something, and when she told us she couldn't do anything exactly for black people, start saying she was this black woman candidate and she was this woman of color or whatnot. I remember her and Joe Biden giving the Asian community a hate crime bill. I remember the LGBT community getting a bill to protect the LGBT community. I even remember the Jewish community getting a anti-Semitic bill written up ASAP when all this stuff started happening in Israel and Gaza. And she told us, you think I'm going to do? That's what she told us, right? So that is why she is not being taken seriously.
Go ahead, Derek.
Your mic, Derek.
We was talking about policy.
You go ahead.
Can you?
Go ahead. Yeah,
Okay,
I can hear you.
yeah, I just want to go back to what Commander was saying when he touched on the Roe v. Wade, the abortion issue. So this is a young lady that haven't birthed any children, probably not capable of birthing children, but she advocate for the death of other children in the womb. To me, it's like she's jealous of real women that can actually birth children, and she don't want that to happen. She want company. You don't need a child, so they just kill them in the womb. So this is coming out from the mouth of a person. She's a staunch advocate for abortion from the mouth of a person that have never pushed a baby out of her womb at all, and she's probably not capable of pushing a baby out of her womb, and she's jealous of women that can actually do. You have to look beneath the surface and see the demonic things that's coming from this woman's mouth. This woman is unfit to lead any country, just like Joe Biden is. She's the same, like you say, she's behind Biden, and she's not. She didn't fight against Joe Biden's policies that was detrimental to America. There are billions of dollars given to Ukraine and other countries. The borders wide open, and using my tax dollars, your tax dollars, to house, feed, and educate these same people. When, as a black man or as have a black community, we don't get the same thing, even though we work. Now, reparations. She talked about reparation when they was running her and Joe, and when she got in office, what she say? Well, we're gonna form a commission to study slavery in America. I was like, what is that to study? It's a known fact. It's a proven fact. So why do you need a commission? Whatever happened to the commission? So she didn't hold to nothing that she was saying. She was just throwing dog bones out there, trying to get us to vote for her. Where's the commission for reparation? I don't see it. Y'all don't see it. You've been in that 3 years and 6 months. Why haven't you pushed it into Congress and everywhere else? I mean, so she just on the surface identifying as a black woman. She's an Indian. She is black, a black Indian woman, but she is not a foundational black American. I call her ankle baby, and not ANKLE, ANKE, ankle, not but ankle on my damn leg. That's what I call. But we have to look clearly at the picture. Let's look at what she has done, what she hasn't done, and let's make an informed decision. And we must tell our women, man. Our women think they are leading the men because they've been leading the men because we took a back seat. We cannot let that happen anymore. We must talk to our women. We must let them know how we feel about Kamala. We must give them evidence on Kamala, and then we must talk to them about President Trump and how his policies is beneficial for the black community. Out of it, too, President Trump is the better.
Yeah, so that's a good point you made. And here's my next question to you all. To that point, we see a lot of conversations around let women lead or vote like. I saw what Roland Martin had a vote like a black woman t-shirt. I think it's so ridiculous, right? Because men are leaders in the community, in the home, right? Now, a family can decide how they want to vote together, but we shouldn't be taking the lead of the woman. We should decide as a family, or a man should say, I'm gonna vote this way, or you might vote separately, in different ways. That's fine, however you want to do that. But why is it that when black men lift their voice and say, you know what, I'm really not feeling Kamala, right? I don't have faith in her. I don't have confidence in her ability to lead this country. And it has nothing to do with her skin color. It has nothing to do with her past and who she slept with. It's just about policy, right? Why is that such a hard concept for a lot of people to wrap their minds around, that black men, we may not want to support Kamala? Anybody can take that.
All right, let me jump in on this one real quick. When I look at, Kamala Harris, I'm like, okay, imagine her meeting with the world leaders. Can you see it? What do you think they would take us serious if she was our president? And it's funny that you said that Roland Martin had that T-shirt on, "Vote like a woman." I think it was a black woman. I think it was a black woman, if I'm not mistaken, because
Yeah,
I made a meme, "Vote like a black man."
Right.
I turned around and made a meme like that. She laughs a lot. She's not serious. If anything, when she go out and when she go out to do her rallies, they need to go ahead and really prep her about this laughing, because it's like no one is going to take her serious. I can't wait for her to go out and do the rallies to see if this is a serious contender right here. Mm-hmm. Because I don't think the world, even if she becomes president, I don't think the world will respect us because she's a quote unquote black woman. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Go ahead, Ricky.
If you look at the problems she's had, she's been unable to do interviews. She's been terrible in public appearances. And she has all of those staff issues. Look at all of the turnover she's had. People can't work with her. She's bad with the public. And if your entire job, right, aside from being vice president, was to get prepped to be president for 24, and you have not passed that test by now. She had the border. They've given her other plum easy assignments. She's not good at politics, and that's something you can't fix. She's the opposite of Obama. Obama was a master at it. She just can't run an office.
Yeah, so like I was thinking about it today, and I was like, man, Kamala's a nice looking woman, and I think there's some privilege that comes with that. And we don't talk about it a lot when it comes to politics, but I've been around politics a long time, and I know good politicians, I know shrewd politicians, I know strategic politicians, savvy politicians. She's none of those. She's not a great speaker. She can't fire you up in a crowd. She's not great with policy. She's not great with going and whipping some votes for some legislation, things of that nature. I'm like, what is she actually good at?
Kamala's a horrible politician.
Yeah. And I saw a tweet today that somebody was talking that there was a tweet from some of her old staff. Somebody had talked to some of her old staff, right? And y'all mentioned a lot of the staff turnover, right? They said that she's horrible with prep. One of y'all just mentioned that. You can give her all the talking points. You can give her the speech ahead of time. They say she does not prep. She does not practice. She does not go over her notes and talking points. And so when she's out in public, it shows. Because I've never seen a politician this unprepared. Now, I'll say this one thing and then I'll pass it on. Like, one of the great things, if you're a politician or a public speaker, like I'm a preacher too, you always got to be quick on your feet and ready with some ad libs. If you lose your place on your notes or your points, you still got to know what to say and really just work it. Even when I'm doing these interviews, sometimes I lose my thought and I come up with another question off the top of my head, right? And nobody would ever know. She's awful, even from that standpoint. So I'm saying to myself, what is it outside of symbolism or gender? What is it that people are really fired up about, Derek?
Well, people on the left, the Democrats, so they fired up because they concentrate on skin color. It don't matter about policy. It's about skin color and it's about gender. That is why they're, oh, it's a black woman. The same thing with Obama when Obama ran. And I voted for Obama, and I've been a Republican all my life, but I want to see a black man as president. And my
Sure,
grandma,
I did too. I did
yeah,
too.
my grandma was 98 years old. I said, I'm voting for this man. I pray he get in so she can see for her lifetime a black president. But when he was going around campaigning, I told everybody he ain't gonna do shit. He just keeps screaming, yes, we can, yes, we can. And I know he wasn't gonna do that, but I still was gonna vote for him for the simple reason he was black. This is
Yeah.
one time I voted skin color, and I meant to vote skin color. I didn't give a damn what else he stood for. I just wanted to vote skin color at that time because we never had a black president. So this is why people are still stuck in the skin color and the gender. That doesn't matter with me at all because one thing about it, I don't care what kind of leader you elect, if they ungodly, you're gonna get the same shit. It's not gonna make any difference. If you I don't care if they're black and they ungodly, you're gonna get the same bullshit. They're white, they ungodly, the same bullshit. So we got to start paying attention, elect godly people that's got godly principles, that's gonna follow the United States Constitution and the word of God. This is the only way this nation is gonna be saved. And I hope it's not too late because we are depraved. We have been turned over to our depraved mindset now. Because with all this men marry men, little kids can cut the body parts out and become women. We are at that point where it may be no return. That's what my mind is saying. Is it may God maybe said, hell, I'm just gonna let y'all have this. Y'all
Mhm.
gonna destroy yourself. So I think we're pretty. If we are not there, we are pretty damn close to it, and we better start fighting back and doing what we can do to try to save this nation. Otherwise, we are doomed.
Yeah.
We're showing all signs of a collapse.
So Ricky, let me come to
That's a
you
fact.
on this next question. So, um, if you were to vote today, who would you cast your vote for the president?
My preferred candidate right now is Jill Stein. Although me and her do have some issues right now, I don't think I could vote for her because of her COVID stance and some other things on the platform. But I think that she is the best, and she doesn't have some of the negatives that Cornel West has, and the others have nothing to offer.
Is she even on the ballot?
In New York, it is pending. She's trying to get on the ballot, and hopefully, she will be in New York or be on the ballot in New York. She was on the ballot in 16.
Okay. Let me ask that question again. Of candidates that are on the ballot right now, who would you vote for today?
Well, I guess I could say Trump, but I couldn't actually vote for him. But he is the lesser evil. He is the least egregious of the candidates who have a chance to win. It's between him and Kamala, and Kamala is that much worse.
Okay. Commander, if the election was today, who would you vote for?
I will vote for the Teflon Don. 34 convictions. The bad guy. Definitely Donald Trump.
All right. Troy T, who would you vote for today? I kind of see it on your hat, but
I'm gonna go with Donald Trump because
okay.
I was doing well under Donald Trump. I voted for Democrats, Republicans. I vote my interest. So I mean, I'm gonna go with the experience I know. I feel like Kamala is a DEI hire. I've seen a reel with a speech that she does, and
Okay.
she did this one speech like 300 times, and y'all know the speech I'm talking about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Unburdened by what has been. Derek, if you were to vote today, who you voting for?
Well, I'm Trump all the way. Trump, first term I followed Trump, and he did very good. He did very good for my community. He did very good for America, and I like outspoken, bold-spoken people. And he's that type of guy. It might hurt somebody's feeling, but I don't care. So I'm Trump 1,000%. But on the ballot, everybody should be allowed on the ballot regardless. They should let Connell and everybody that's running for president. They should just put them on and let the people make the choice. I
Yeah.
don't understand the process like that. Let them get on that way. Yeah,
That's
Trump is the guy.
democracy.
Trump is my guy 1,000%.
Yeah. So to that point, so in the exit polls in 2020, Trump walked away with 7% of the black vote. As per a poll I saw a couple hours ago, he's trending to get about 20 to 25% of the black vote this time around. Um, what is it about Trump this time around that's resonating with black people, fellas?
If I could say, as the non-Trump supporter here, I think that giving an honest assessment of his first term, I think it was better than the others. People will blame COVID on him, but generally things, you didn't have any big wars, you didn't have any major mistakes. So anybody looking at 2019 and looking at these previous or the 4 years after is going to say that life was better back then. So I think it's a clear contrast, and all of the Trump hate and all of the Trump hysteria has worn off. And now, giving an honest assessment, you usually don't have a one-term president and then another term. You usually have a president that gets two terms. So you look at his one term, and then you say, all right, that's how it was. And if you're going to give an honest assessment, it's better than Biden's, which is clearly worse on so many issues. And that's how I think he got up to 25% on the black vote.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's amazing coming from a non-Trump supporter. But go ahead, Commander. What's your
yeah,
feedback?
I definitely agree with what he said. You could see the first term, and then you had Biden come in. Okay, everything is high, gas is high, everything is high, and then also you have the delusional Democrats. No, he's okay, he's fine, he's okay. So that helped too, as far as with the black supporters coming our way. But I think it's more of the black men that's coming on board with Trump, more of the black men. You got to understand his first term, like he said, no wars. Everyone respected the United States. Joe Biden, he gets in there. Inflation. They say he can't help inflation. That's not the president's fault. But then you have the border crisis. Okay. Then you have Russia and Ukraine. Okay. You
I
got
forgot about that.
Israel and Hamas. Then you have Russia 30 miles outside of Florida's, the state of Florida. So it's like, yeah, it's like we look weak. So I think the black men are seeing this and like, you know what? I got to vote for Trump. We just got to get the black women to come over. That's all. But it's
And
going to
not
be hard
and,
to do.
and not and not only that, Commander. A lot of black people, such as myself, we relate to Trump now because we don't experience that two-tier justice system that been so unfairly to black men. And the way they doing President Trump is they already had that in the chest. They experimented on us and they made it work on us, and then they just decided I'm gonna use this on the orange man. Then we don't had so much success getting black men. I'm gonna put this over here. I'm gonna go and get some. Something between him and his wife, which the statute of limitation been ran out 10 years. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make up something, and we're gonna make up turn into a felony, even though it was 10 years ago. And we're gonna get him as you know, if you watch the trial and you pay attention, no underlying crime. Every single indictment has an underlying crime. This one didn't have an underlying crime, so I tell you all you need to know. And so, as a black man, we feel President Trump because the justice of my I done been there locked up so many times. It's pitiful. Driving without license, suspended license, no insurance, all types of bullshit, man, that I got locked up for. It didn't make absolutely no sense. But they want you to get a record, which I don't care about. I don't care about a record, man. Unjust justice system. I'm not gonna follow that. I'm that type of person that is not gonna follow that. Locked me up. Dr. King went to jail. Whole bunch of people went to jail. So I could care less about anybody's record. I know for a fact that they threw these charges on President Trump. I know for a fact that they don't want to run again. This is why they put those charges. Now, if you know anything, the 1972 Presidential Act gives every single president the right to declassify any type of document that he or her want to do, and that's President Trump. So why did they raid his home? Why did they do all these particular things? And he had the right to do that. So I see right through the criminal justice system. I've been a law enforcement officer before myself. I've been on the other side of the law, getting locked up, going to jail, and all that. So I know how to fix the criminal justice system. And when I become governor of the state of New York, I'm going to dig into these things and I'm going to repair the entire system in the state of New York. And not only will I repair it, I will direct the state to pay way people back there got locked up for selling weed and stayed in jail so long and this and that, because in New York now you can legally sell weed. So I need to dig all the way back with all the people that been locked up and put in jail, and we need to compensate those people. We need to clean their records, and this is something that I'm gonna do as the governor of the state of New York.
Yo, I might vote for you if you do all that.
Yeah, so let's bring our brother Marcus into the conversation. How are you, brother?
I'm doing well, good brother. How about yourself today?
Man, I'm blessed. I can't complain. Yeah, just hop right in. Here's my question to you: if you were to vote today, who would you support for president?
Well, have you seen the choices? I mean, if it's not clear that the best choice that we have moving forward to restore our republic to any type of thing that even looks like reasonability would be Trump 100%. And we need to start to go back to some of our more conservative and traditional values and principles. Now, I'm not saying that that's what Trump's all about. Trump is a consummate businessman, right? And he said many times there are certain things that he might not necessarily hold true himself, but you got to get elected. Right. and that's the truth. But he's very much so focused on trimming back the bureaucracy, which is a big thing for me. If you guys remember when he was in office last time, he put a hiring freeze and froze tens of thousands, if not more, jobs into bureaucracy. And people were like, oh my God, the government's going to collapse if these jobs aren't filled. It's terrible. It's horrible. It's the end of the world. They catastrophized everything under his previous presidency. And nothing that they said was going to happen that was so bad ever happened. Absolutely. In my life, yeah, and in my lifetime, he's the first president in my life. Like I'm not as seasoned as some of you other gentlemen, but in my lifetime, he is the first president that hasn't directly impacted the Black community as Black Americans negatively or adversely. So I'm like, listen, man, you've got my support on immigration. You want to make sure that we shut down the border and deport all of these people that are hurting our economy, stripping us of our resources and all of that. I'm on board. I've been on board since before you came on with that. You want to talk about we need a strong posture on the world stage and we need to stop all these foreign wars and focus on ourselves. I'm on that. You're talking about repatriating jobs to America so that people can actually have jobs that are going to be able to pay them, that they can actually work where they don't have to work 4 or 5 jobs. Because if you bring the manufacturing and jobs back here from abroad, it'll also lower the prices. And that's something that we don't talk about a lot.
Hey, Derek, you need to get with this, brother. You're in New York, right?
Yeah, I'm aware of Marcus. Me and Marcus together. We
okay.
had events together and everything.
Which one of y'all invited Marcus on? Ricky or you, Derek?
It wasn't me.
Yeah.
It was Ricky.
It was Derek. It was brother Derek.
It was Derek. Okay. Cool. No. This brother's. So let me ask you real quickly, Marcus. How do you identify? Are you independent? You're a Republican? You're a Democrat? How do you identify?
Well, I identify as a Christian. Then I identify. Then I identify as an American.
Okay.
Then I identify as a Black man.
Okay.
But what I think you're saying is how do I identify, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So politically, I'm a constitutional conservative, but I'm a registered Republican.
Okay. Wonderful. So let me ask this. You know, I mean, you guys are brilliant. You know, so I don't even have to say much. When it comes down to it, let me get your honest assessment on this, right? And everybody can jump on this. We have 106 days until election day. Pretty much 80 days before early vote starts across the country for those states that do have early vote, right? So this thing is around the corner. Mm-hmm. The polls are saying in the swing states that Trump is kicking butt. Trump was in East Palestine, Ohio. Trump had got J.D. Vance as his vice president, who's from Ohio. Trump is strong in the Midwest and in those swing states. He's kicking butt in Arizona as well. It seems like the biggest base of support that Kamala has are Black people right now, right? But even Trump is taking away some of those. When it comes down to it, even though she raised $80 million yesterday, Troy T, I come to you first. Do you think she has enough to beat Donald J. Trump on November 5th?
There's no way, and since you're pastors and
Say what you want to say, bro.
reverends on the roster and the deacon board, there's no way in hell that Kamala Harris gonna win a dang thing. Trying to keep it clean as I can. There's no way at this point, at this late in an election cycle, that she can rally enough money. If the richest billionaire in the world, if Elon Musk dumped money on her, they would have to practically steal this election, which might happen, but they would have to steal this and finagle. I didn't know the Democrats were so powerful to have Trump in court this many times under this many felonies. And so I'm really shocked, but I doubt it. I think that she's the closest thing they got, but the closest thing they got is a desperate choice and a last minute scenario based on the lack of health in our current president, Biden.
Ricky, you're a
So,
leftist. You're the closest thing to a Democrat we have on this panel right now. Do you think she has enough to be able to beat him? We got Roe v. Wade on the table. Do you think that will
I
energize
don't
women
think
to come out?
nope.
What do you
I
think?
don't think any of that's going to matter. In the past, whether it be in her California race where she barely squeaked it out or where she had to drop out in 2020, she's not good at elections. And I think that way before November, we're going to see upheaval in the Democrat Party because she's going to have to campaign. She's going to have to campaign hard. And she doesn't have an excuse like Biden, like, oh, I'm an old man, I can't be out. She's not that old. She's going to have to show and prove, and she's going to have problems. And I think between now and the election, I think she has no shot. But voting machines are a thing, and I don't believe Biden actually won in 20.
Not at all.
Commander, what do you think?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, not yes, sir, till she's going to win, but thanks for calling on me. Nah, you got to understand she's going to be running on Biden's policies, I should say. And this was my question that I was asking. Do you think the white men will vote for her? Do you think the white man wants a black woman president in there? Is she going to get the white votes? So that's my thing. But to know, because it's a short period of time, and she's going to be running on Biden's policies, and Trump is already there. Trump already made his way. He's the OG, the 34 convicted felonies, and he's the bad guy. And no, it's Trump all the way, man.
Derek, can she pull it off? Can she get it close? Does she have a shot? Is there a long shot? What do you think?
It's a long shot, but reminder of 2020 how they pulled the that fake election with the stuff, ballot boxes and so forth and so on. But the thing about it now, they can't blatantly cheat so much per se because everybody's up on it, all eyes is on it now. But they still can cheat. And I think I was at the airport after the convention. My flight was scheduled to leave at 6 in the morning. I got out of there about 3 in the evening because, so y'all know, the cyber attack, but they wanted to shut down hospitals, airports, and everything. I think that was a test, and then see what it did to the vote machines in Arizona. So I think that was a test run to see how they can cheat, how they can shut things down, and just have us stuck in one place like we were stuck at the airport all day long. So the guy that's Cyber, what that was. Oh, I almost caught the name, but I forgot. But anyway, he's a former FBI agent. He runs that, and I think they're doing a test run to steal the election, but it's going to be harder to do. And this is why I want everybody to listen. I want everybody to request their ballots so they can have them. Don't go vote. Have the ballot in your hand. When you go to vote on November the 5th, if they tell you already voted, then you got them right there. They caught red-handed. So this is some of the things that happened in 2020. I worked a task force on the East Coast, and I was assigned to Atlanta, Georgia, and I took pictures of Florida tags, and I followed these people, and they was paying the homeless people for $20 and $30 to get their information, filling the voter forms out, and voting Democrat for Stacey Abrams. I recorded all that. I filmed it. I got tags. I even took pictures of the people, and I sent it in to the state. I sent it into the Southern District of New York, and nothing ever became of it. So, it was a stolen election. So we got to be very careful this election. And I'm asking everyone, go ahead and request your ballot. Don't vote. Don't fill it out. Just take it to the polls with you. This is one way that we can crash the system.
Okay. Marcus, is it possible? Could she pull it off? Does she have enough voters in her base to pull it off and beat Donald Trump?
So what we're looking at is really a couple of things. The question is, can she pull over the Indian vote, not feather, I'm talking red dot, right? Because they have been very staunch supporters of Donald Trump. So that's a very interesting concept. Do they have the same, I guess you would call it, what would you call it, race politics that we do, where, oh, she's Indian, so I'm just going to vote for her because she's Indian? Is that going to happen? Because they're starting to trump her up as, oh, she's Indian when she's with the Asian Pacific Islander community, but she's black all the rest of the time. So it's very interesting to see this whole concept. And she's not black. Let's be very clear. She's not a black American. She said very clearly that she doesn't care about black American interests, and she'd never do anything for us. And she's got an agenda for the alphabet people. She's got an agenda for the the Jews. She's got an agenda for the everybody else except us. She's even got an agenda for illegal aliens. But you don't have an agenda for black Americans? Are you serious? It's like I said, she's one of those people that they got out there cosplaying as a black American, and I'm sick and tired of it. Now, as far as will she pull over the votes across the line? Honestly, it's going to boil down to her getting out her base. And I don't know if her base is so motivated that she'll pull it off. I believe at the convention, or maybe even later in the game, we'll see a bait and switch pulled, and they'll pull somebody else out of the woodwork, whoever that may be. Because I don't see her as being somebody that enthusiastically really draws in the Democrat people from the ticket. They've got a malaise going on right now. And we have an issue with that too, right? Like our people don't want to vote. Their people don't want to vote, but it's worse for them. So we'll have to see how that plays out. My prediction is this. Joe Biden's going to step down, or he's going to die, or something like that. She's going to go in there and either not have a vice president or try to maniggle something so she doesn't have to have Mike Johnson as the vice president. And then when it comes to the election, she's going to try to ride off of that. And whoever she chooses for her vice president, if she is to win, she would make it so that she's out of there in the first week or two of office, and the vice president then becomes the president. And if it's somebody that's more known to us, like a Michelle Obama or a Hillary or a Gavin Newsom, all terrifying prospects, that's exactly what will happen.
I'm looking at a tweet right now that Shut Up just put up, and Jasmine Crockett, the representative out of Dallas, who I think runs her mouth a little too much, but she did an interview and said she's not confident at all in Kamala's chances. This is a young black Democratic rep who is advocating for Kamala, but she said, I don't feel good about her chances. And watch this, because behind closed doors, she says Democrats are saying it can't be her. So one of y'all mentioned it, and I think so too. Stay tuned about what's going to happen at that convention. I think it's going to be a lot of maneuvering. It's in Chicago, and let's be honest, Barack Obama is still the leader of the Democratic Party. It was never Joe Biden. Barack Obama is still pulling the strings. He's the one who forced Joe Biden out, all right? But he did it quietly. I'll say this last piece, then we got to go, fellas. I think the biggest issue from an electorate standpoint that Kamala has is white independence. White folks ain't finna vote for this woman. They're not. Now, they if Joe Biden was still on the ticket, then yes, they could probably stomach it and say, let me support another white guy. But they're not going to vote for a woman of color, right? These white independents, they're not going for it. Even black independents, I don't think they're going for it either. So the only base that she really has are divine 9 black men and black women for the most part. But that's really it. That's really all she has. California doesn't even fully support her, right? We remember with her failed campaign for president in 2020. It didn't even make it to Super Tuesday. right? Because it was a failure. So I'm like, what happened? Why do we think now 4 years later she couldn't even make it to Super Tuesday? Now we think she's this excited nominee. It's a lot of delusion going on, fellas. But hey, thank y'all so much for joining me on the podcast. I really appreciate your perspectives, and I'll have you guys back on pretty soon. We can continue to talk about these things. All right.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, fellas. Until next time, folks. This is the Damien Jones Podcast.
Be blessed and be well.